Hello and welcome to my channel, your go-to source for the latest in WWE 24. Don't forget to follow and subscribe for all the updates. Let's dive right in.
WWE is weeks away from WrestleMania 42, and Triple H can't seem to catch a break, as the game has faced criticisms for several of his booking decisions. Meanwhile, a veteran questioned the reason behind Hunter and Stephanie McMahon's recent appearance. On the latest edition of WWE Raw, Stephanie McMahon and Triple H appeared on the weekly product and played a part in two massive storylines heading into WrestleMania 42. McMahon slapped Cody Rhodes on the red brand before his title match against Randy Orton, and Triple H acted as a peacemaker between Oba Femi and Brock Lesnar. Speaking on Vince Russo's The Brand, Ben Heyman questioned the creative choices of Triple H and Stephanie McMahon, appearing in two feuds on the show. Heyman first stated that if the company had properly booked Randy Orton versus Cody Rhodes, they would have never needed to feature the billion-dollar princess. Later, he discussed Triple H's appearance and how he made himself the centerpiece in a showdown between Brock Lesnar and Oba Femi, but the two heavyweights didn't let it last for long. Moreover, Vince Russo agreed with the veteran's take. Who's in the middle of the storyline? Inserted themselves into the center pin pieces at Madison Square Garden. But really, all they're doing is putting themselves in there. You know Brock, Lesnar, and Oba Femi are smart enough to go, "This guy's taking our King spotlight away," Heyman said. Triple H's team reportedly didn't book a major angle on WWE SmackDown. On the recent edition of WWE SmackDown, Pat McAfee returned to the Stamford-based promotion and turned heel. McAfee aligned with Randy Orton and was revealed as the Viper's mystery caller. However, the directive wasn't given by Triple H or the creative team. According to PW Insider, the directive to add McAfee came from the higher-ups in TKO. A source claimed it came from someone as high as Ari Emanuel. Triple H eventually gave a go to the directive, but the idea wasn't formulated by the game or the creative team in the promotion. In the high-stakes world of professional wrestling, where every segment, promo, and in-ring confrontation is meticulously crafted to build toward WrestleMania, one recent episode of WWE Raw has sparked heated debate among veterans and fans alike. The headline-grabbing criticism comes from wrestling veteran Ben Heyman, who didn't hold back while appearing on Vince Russo's The Brand podcast. Heyman's blunt assessment of Triple H and Stephanie McMahon's involvement in key storylines boiled down to a memorable line, "This guy's taking our King spotlight." The context? WWE is just weeks away from WrestleMania 42, and the March 30th, 2026 edition of Raw, held at the iconic Madison Square Garden, featured appearances from the McMahon family that some argue overshadowed the talent. Stephanie McMahon made a surprise appearance, confronting and slapping Cody Rhodes ahead of his high-profile title match against Randy Orton. Later in the show, Triple H, Paul the Game Levesque, WWE's chief content officer, stepped in as a peacemaker between two absolute behemoths, Brock Lesnar and rising star Oba Femi. What was intended as a way to protect a blockbuster WrestleMania matchup quickly drew scrutiny. Ben Heyman, a longtime voice in the industry known for his no-nonsense takes, zeroed in on these moments during his podcast discussion. He argued that if the Orton-Rhodes feud had been booked more effectively from the start, there would have been no need to bring in Stephanie McMahon for dramatic flair. If they had booked it right, Heyman suggested, they wouldn't have needed the billion-dollar princess to come in and slap Cody to generate heat. His critique extended beyond that, painting a picture of creative decisions that prioritize legacy names over letting current superstars shine on their own merit. The most pointed remarks came when Heyman addressed Triple H's role in the Lesnar-Femi segment. As tensions escalated and a brawl seemed imminent between the former Universal Champion and the dominant NXT call-up, Triple H positioned himself squarely in the middle, literally and figuratively. According to Heyman, this insertion turned the spotlight away from the two massive athletes who were meant to be the focus. And GT, who's in the middle of the storyline? Inserted themselves into the center pin pieces at Madison Square Garden. But really, all they're doing is putting themselves in there. You know Brock, Lesnar, and Oba Femi are smart enough to go, "This guy's taking our King spotlight away." Heyman's delivery carried the weight of someone who's seen the business evolve over decades. He emphasized that performers like Lesnar, a proven box office draw with a no-frills, destructive persona, and Femi, a powerful newcomer positioned as a future star, are savvy enough to recognize when authority figures are stepping into the narrative for reasons that might not serve the long-term story. Vince Russo, the podcast host and himself a controversial former WWE head writer, reportedly agreed with Heyman's perspective, adding fuel to the conversation about modern booking practices. This isn't the first time Triple H's creative oversight has come under fire as WrestleMania season heats up. Since assuming a more prominent role in WWE's creative direction following Vince McMahon's departure, the game has been praised by many for elevating younger talent, improving match quality, and fostering a more athletic, story-driven product. Segments like Roman Reigns' Bloodline Saga or the rise of stars like Cody Rhodes have drawn acclaim. Yet, critics point to moments where legacy talent or executive figures seem to linger in the spotlight, potentially at the expense of building new heroes. Take the broader Raw episode in question. The show was packed with WrestleMania 42 implications, Cody Rhodes cutting a promo on his rivalry with Randy Orton, only for Stephanie to interrupt and deliver a physical slap that added personal stakes. Meanwhile, the Lesnar-Femi confrontation was designed to hype what could be a monstrous clash at Mania, with Triple H intervening to prevent chaos and preserve the match. On paper, these are classic wrestling tropes: authority figures maintaining order, family drama injecting emotion, and big men staring each other down. But Heyman's critique suggests that in execution, they risk diluting the raw intensity that fans crave from Lesnar, known for his Suplex City dominance and unpredictable returns, and Femi, whose imposing physique and in-ring prowess have made him a standout. Fans watching at home or in the Garden had mixed reactions. Some appreciated the star power of having McMahon family members appear, seeing it as a nostalgic nod to WWE's golden eras while advancing plots. Others echoed Heyman's sentiment on social media, questioning why established main eventers needed protection or external drama to sell their match. In an era where WWE operates under TKO Group Holdings, with influences from executives like Ari Emanuel reportedly shaping certain decisions, as seen in the Pat McAfee heel turn on SmackDown that allegedly came from higher-ups rather than Triple H's team, the lines between creative vision and corporate input can blur. Heyman's comments tap into a larger discussion about the balance of power in WWE today. Triple H, a 14-time world champion and Hall of Famer in his own right, brings unparalleled in-ring knowledge and respect from the locker room. His NXT tenure proved he could develop stars like Kevin Owens, Sami Zayn, and countless others. However, when he or Stephanie appear on the main roster in prominent roles, it invites comparisons to the Vince McMahon era, where the boss frequently inserted himself into angles, sometimes to the detriment of younger talent's momentum. Is this fair criticism, or is it nostalgia-tinted hindsight? Proponents of Triple H argue that his involvement adds legitimacy and high production value. A segment with him separating Lesnar and Femi at MSG creates memorable television, draws casual eyes, and protects a pay-per-view attraction from premature physicality. Similarly, Stephanie's appearance ties into the McMahon legacy, which still carries weight with longtime viewers. Without it, the Orton-Rhodes build-up might feel flat if the creative well runs dry on promos alone. Yet Heyman's core point resonates: wrestling thrives when the spotlight stays on the performers who will actually compete inside the squared circle. Brock Lesnar doesn't need much help selling a fight; he's a physical specimen whose mere presence evokes destruction. Oba Femi represents the next generation, a hungry athlete looking to make his mark on the biggest stage. When an executive figure steps in as the center pin, it can unintentionally signal that the match itself isn't compelling enough on its own merits. Vince Russo's agreement adds another layer. Russo, who famously clashed with WWE creative philosophies during his time as a writer in the Attitude Era, has long advocated for edgier, character-driven storytelling over reliance on authority angles. His podcast has become a platform for unfiltered veteran opinions, and this episode highlights ongoing tensions and how stories are told in 2026 WWE. Looking ahead to WrestleMania 42, these Raw segments set the stage for potential classics. Cody Rhodes versus Randy Orton could deliver technical mastery and personal vendetta. Brock Lesnar versus Femi promises a clash of titans, with Femi potentially using the moment to establish himself as a credible threat to the Beast. The question remains whether the pre-Mania hype will pay off in the ring or if lingering criticisms about spotlight sharing will linger in fans' minds. In the end, wrestling is subjective. What one veteran sees as self-insertion, another might view as smart television. Triple H has steered WWE through turbulent times, delivering consistent ratings and critically acclaimed PPVs. But voices like Ben Heyman serve as important reminders: the business belongs to the wrestlers who bleed for it, and the true stars should never have to wonder if someone else is stealing their shine. As Raw continues its build and WrestleMania 42 approaches, expect more fireworks, both in the ring and in the court of public opinion. Will Triple H dial back executive cameos to let the talent breathe? Or will the McMahon influence continue to weave through major angles? Only time, and the eventual Mania card, will tell. For now, Heyman's fiery quote captures the frustration felt by those who believe the spotlight should always belong to the superstars stepping between the ropes.